Welcome to the City of Pinellas Parks City Council meeting. Our city offers superior parks, premium recreational services, exceptional public safety resources, optimal investment opportunities, and more. Our mayor and city council welcomes you to tonight's meeting.
Doesn't show up. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for Thursday, September 11th, 2015. The time is 6 p.m. 2025. That's a big step back. Yes, 2025. All right. We first have our invocation by Reverend Lorraine Brock from King of Peace Church, located at 6085 Park Boulevard, followed by Pledge of Allegiance.
This evening, let us remember all those who died on 9/11, for Charlie Kirk's family and friends, and for the students who were shot in Colorado. Let us pray. Creator God, ground us in the sacred duty of governance. As these members gather in this place, infuse each heart with a steadfast dedication to serve our city's people. Allow your wisdom to steer each person's judgments in these trying times, and remind us that we are to govern with integrity, honesty, and justice. Continue to guide our discussions with one another with respect and attentiveness. Let us meet the challenges with new ideas and hopeful hearts. May we always make our decisions for the greater good of all the citizens that have been appointed to serve. And we ask all of this in the Creator's name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll have some presentations here this evening. We're going to start with Chief Hughes, Fire Department.
Good evening, everybody. Chief Hughes. I'm the fire chief for Pinellas Park Fire Department. As you all know, today is 9/11, so we want to pay a special tribute and honor the men and women who sacrificed their lives on behalf of the fire department on 9/11. So we do have a video that we're going to play.
Your mic's not on.
Can you guys hear me? Yes. So, okay, Chief Hughes with Pinellas Park Fire Department. Sorry about that. I am the fire chief. Today is 9/11, so we do want to play a special tribute video on behalf of the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of the fire department at FDNY on the date 24 years ago. So we're going to play a video. And Chris Torello should, there we go.
American Airlines emergency line, please state your emergency.
The cockpit's not answering. Somebody's staffed in business class. And I think there's mates that we can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked.
That looks like a second plane.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit.
Stay together. Let me know what's going on.
We're on 71. We're coming up behind you. Marshall on 75. We're about to stay going up to 79. Okay.
Evacuate the building.
I want you all to know that America's day is on bended knee.
None of us will ever forget the pictures of our courageous firefighters and police, many of whom have lost friends and colleagues. September 11 will go down in our history as a day to remember. A tragedy like this could have torn our country apart, but instead, it has united us. May God bless you all.
So on September 11th, 2001, 343 firefighters, along with hundreds of police officers and thousands of civilians, made the ultimate sacrifice. For those of us who are old enough to remember, never forget is a personal memory. Where we were, what we saw, and how it changed us. But for many of our younger brothers and sisters in the fire service, 9/11 is something they've only read about in the history books. For them, never forget means something different. It's not about recalling a memory, but about carrying forward the legacy, courage, and sacrifice of those who came before us. When we say never forget, we aren't just asking people to remember a date. We're committing ourselves to live in a way that honors those who ran into the towers knowing they may not come out. It means we uphold the highest standards of courage, service, and brotherhood every single day. So about 2 weeks ago, I woke up and I was met with some personal professional conviction that I may be the last fire chief that this department promotes that was actually alive during 9/11. I was 12 years old at the time in 7th grade, and I was just looking around some of the stations in fire administration, and I realized that we have the potential to one day forget about these events. We're not paying the best tributes that we can to remember those who sacrificed their lives. And in fact, we just interviewed a kid not too long ago, about a week ago, and he was not alive when 9/11 took place. So I reached out to some our partners at Profusion and decided that we need to put something up in each station and pay tribute to the men and women who sacrificed their lives. And Bart, I'm going to ask you to come up if you don't mind. No? Oh, but
Man.
We got a little piece of artwork memento that we wanted to place in every station. But the first one, I think, needs to be in the city, and I want to present it to you, Bart. And it's just to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Hey,
Yeah, I think your cap's on.
take the cap off the front of it. You lighted it up. I was fixing the ball crying. You lighted it up. Thank you. Too late. Great idea, man. Unbelievable.
Thanks, sir. All right, so next we have another special presentation for three of our firefighters who really, we risk a lot to save a lot. And I have Chief Layfield coming up here to do a presentation for a Life Safety Award for three of our firefighters.
Thank you, Chief Hughes. Good evening, everyone. We are here tonight to recognize an act of profound courage and unwavering dedication that exemplifies the very best of our fire service. Tonight, we honor the crew of Engine 34 for their extraordinary actions on the evening of April 14th, 2025. On that day, Engine 34 was dispatched as the second unit to a structure fire. Upon arrival, they immediately assumed the critical role of search and rescue, making entry behind the fire attack crew of Engine 38. The fire, which was located on the second floor, presented a significant challenge in terms of location and access. As Engine 38 and Engine 34 ascended the interior stairs to locate the seat of the fire, the situation was dynamic and dangerous. Conditions on the second floor had deteriorated to near flashover conditions, which is an untenable situation for life, including firefighters. Once on the second floor, the crew of Engine 34, Lieutenant William Weaver and firefighter Ortiz, demonstrated exceptional tactical awareness and teamwork. While Engine 38 advanced with their attack line, Engine 34 initiated a right-handed search pattern, moving in the opposite direction and towards the seat of the fire. Engine 34 located the seat of the fire in the master bedroom on the back side of the second-story house, promptly relaying this crucial information to Engine 38 to facilitate fire attack operations. Simultaneously, while this was happening, interior of the house, driver-operator Hoyer was exterior of the building and was in fire department lingo softening the structure, which means he was throwing ladders through windows in case of an emergency exit, which he did on the back side and the front side of the house, and he also forced entry into every locked door of the house in case there was an emergency exit of firefighters. As Engine 34 continued their search, moving from room to room in a methodical manner under extreme heat and duress, they made a discovery of a victim on the second floor. In that moment, the training, the bravery, and the unwavering commitment to saving lives shone brightest. With the announcement of a victim by Lieutenant Weaver and firefighter Ortiz, they immediately notified command of their intention to exit the structure via the first floor front door. With swift precision and incredible care, they successfully removed the patient to safety, where firefighter Hoyer and awaiting medical personnel rendered care. Without hesitation, and with the primary search still incomplete, Engine 34 returned to finish their critical mission of search and rescue on the second and first floors. Their dedication continued through overhaul operations, ensuring no hotspots remained, and later assisted with ventilations. The actions of Engine 34 on that day were not just a testament to their skill, but their profound courage and selflessness. They faced immense danger, performed under extreme pressure, and most importantly, they saved a life. This is the essence of what it means to be a firefighter, and it is why we are immensely proud to present the Life-Saving Medal to the crew of Engine 34. On behalf of Fire Chief Andrew Hughes, the Pinellas Park Fire Administration, we want to thank you for exemplifying the very best of the Pinellas Park Fire Department. Congratulations and well deserved. I now have the most distinct and exceptional honor to present the Life-Saving Medal to the following personnel. Please recognize firefighter Ruben Ortiz. Please recognize driver-operator Tyler Hoyer. And please recognize Lieutenant William Weaver. Thank you very much.
Get some pictures. That's good stuff. Adam's up.
Okay. And next, we'll have Chief Geisenberger do presentation, orientation.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council and everyone. Good evening. Thank you for being here. Tonight it's a celebration as we remember 9/11. We remember all of the tragic events that have come before us. Tonight we get to celebrate. You just saw us celebrate the amazing work of our fire department, and it is my honor to welcome 2 new family members to the Pinellas Park Police Department. If I could have Jorge and Alberto please join me up here. I'm going to introduce them to you, then I'm going to swear them in front of everybody. Officer Jorge De La Cruz Boje was born in Clearwater, Florida. He served in the United States Marine Corps as a low-altitude air defense gunner. Following his military service, he attended EMT school through Skillbridge at the Craven Community College in North Carolina, where he became a licensed EMT. He recently graduated from the Pinellas County Police Academy, where he received both the Top Gun and Top Driver awards. During his time off, he enjoys spending time with his family and exploring local restaurants. Officer Alberto Chavez Tellez was born in Mexico and moved to Florida at the age of 5. He worked in masonry for 10 years before he became a detention deputy at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. In 2024, he attended and completed the crossover to Law Enforcement Academy. Outside of work, when he has the time, he enjoys construction projects and values his time with his wife. That's all of his family back there, his four beautiful daughters, and his extended family. Gentlemen, if you'll face me. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the state of Florida and the charter and laws of the city of Pinellas Park, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the charter and laws of the city of Pinellas Park. And I will faithfully perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a police officer for the city of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida. Congratulations and welcome. Two very special ladies will come up now and pin the newest family member. So if you would, please join me up here and pin your significant other. Once again, welcome to our newest officers, and we're very honored and privileged to be able to do this in front of you. So thank you all for witnessing this with us. Please go introduce yourselves, and thank you and congratulations.
Great job, brother. Thank you, man. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Welcome. Job, brother.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You're welcome aboard.
Congratulations. All right, the hard part's over.
Huh?
Hard part's over. Right. Oh, yeah.
Okay, at this time, we'll have public comments. If there's anyone here that would like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda this evening, you can come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak on any item if it's not already on the agenda. Yes,
Mr.
Sir, is this the water?
No, this is just
No.
open. That'll be up in a moment.
Okay.
Right now, it's just anything that's not on the agenda. And Mr. Vice Mayor, we have Tien Lam, who's expressed a desire to speak on an item not on the agenda. If Tien Lam is still here.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
I have a shovel shopping center, as you can see, and some of them empty, some of them will go vacation a month. So they not use water, so this time I got to pay triple price. I got a receipt here.
So you are talking about the water issue, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to be on that in a moment. Do you wish to speak about anything that's not on the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, so
I
when
paid
we
too
get to
much.
that item, we'll
Thank
call
you.
you up.
God bless you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to speak on any items not already on the agenda? And since there seems to be a keen interest, there is an ordinance concerning utility fees and water fees that is on the agenda, so you will have an opportunity to speak then. There's none, Mr. Vice Mayor. We can proceed with to item P1. Or
we do have quasi.
sorry, apologies. Skipped over. We have the item 2, the approval of the minutes.
Oh, approval of the minutes. We didn't announce that we had quasi judicial.
Okay, you can go ahead and announce that, and then we'll proceed to approval of the minutes.
We do have quasi judicial items on the agenda tonight. If any of you will be speaking on any of these items, staff or citizens, we ask that you rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay.
Now we're on approval of the minutes.
Now approval of the minutes. So, do you have any comments on the minutes? Okay, entertain a motion by Councilman Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I make a motion we approve regular council minutes of August 28th, 2025 as on file in the city clerk's office.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, we'll go to item 3, which is public hearings. Item P1.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. You're on item P1. This is ordinance number 2025-26. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, amending Chapter 10 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pinellas Park, water, reclaimed water, sewers, and other utilities by amending Section 10-12 definitions to include new definition for capital recovery fee, amending Section 10-106 utility service connection charges to be renamed as capital recovery fees, amending Section 10-118 to replace the term connection charges with capital recovery fees, amending Section 10-121 to clarify interest rate accruing on deposits, creating a new Section 10-128 titled Sanitary Sewer Meters Installation Required Violations, and renumbering former Section 10-128 to 10-130, creating a new Section 10-129 titled Sanitary Sewer Meters Inspection, Defective Meters, Estimate of Wastewater, Access for Readings, and renumbering former Section 10-129 to 131, renumbering former Sections 10-130 through 10-133 to new Sections 10-132 through 10-135, providing for codification in the Code of Ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This has been a reading of ordinance number 2025-26 by title only on second and final reading. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing and turn it over to Joy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and council members. I'm Joy Yates, Assistant Finance Administrator. And tonight we're just proposing a few updates to our Chapter 10, which is our utility billing ordinance. Yes. All right, so our first change we're requesting is just an update of a name, going from our utility service connection charges to the capital recovery fees. And that just makes it more in line with what the fee is actually doing. Our second update is changing our method on how we calculate deposit interest. Before we just had a flat rate that we used and it's been there. And so now we're just going to have it effective based on an index for the federal funds. Our biggest change here is adding in a new section here. We are going to ask that we can have the ability to install sewer meters on some properties out there that we think that maybe might be having excessive sewer usage. And this allows us to install it and analyze it and then possibly bill based on actual usage of the sewer side versus basing it on our water usage. The next one just makes sure that the responsibility for these meters are on us, that we are responsible for them, that we have access to them, and that if there's any damage for those meters, it's going to be for us. And lastly, our updates are just renumbering the remainder of all the sections after we added on those two. And I can answer any questions.
Any questions, Joy?
Thank you.
Okay. We'll take comments.
All right, so we are on the public comment portion of ordinance number 2025-26, which is item P1 on the agenda. We have a few people who have submitted cards, and we'll start with the people who have submitted requests to speak cards. The first, since you've already began to come up, Tien Lam, if you could please resume the podium at this time. And this is the time to talk about the concerns you had. And on your card, you've identified addresses for 4400 Park Boulevard, 6101 Park Boulevard, and 9700 66th Street, Pinellas.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. You can proceed, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Yeah, normal, we don't pay water that much. This time you guys raise water, we pay triple price. And some vacant unit, nobody use it. And we still gotta pay. They go vacation 2 weeks, we still gotta pay. You know, they work part-time, we gotta pay. So the meter, it don't do any good. It's not working anymore. Since you guys give us, you know, rate the water up, and we pay triple price. And so I hope you guys can do something to help me out. And we appreciate it. God bless you all. And that's all I can add you guys. Please. Okay?
Thank you.
That's it.
Did you say that you have units that are vacant?
Yes. And I still got to pay because they count 14 unit, multiply, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I asked Beverly, and she told me that. So another way I have to come up here and add you guys kindness, thinking over, see what you can do. And I'm a taxpayer here. And at 3 shopping center, I pay a lot. I work hard. I can't be country work. And I can't raise my tenant, you know, when the lease expires. I can't do a thing because there's a new rule. So I hope you guys thinking over and help us out. We appreciate it for community, for everybody.
Okay. And have you spoken with the water department?
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You are.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb.
The next person, Mr. Vice Mayor, who submitted a card is Ella Newbert, 4700 80th Terrace North. You have, just state your name, you have 3 minutes.
Ella Newbert. This is on behalf of my neighbors and myself. It is both frustrating and deeply concerning that the city continues to shift the consequences of the own fiscal management onto residents through increased water, sewer, trash, and other rates. Rather than exercising prudent budget and transparent financial stewardship, leadership is passing the burden of its projects and reallocations directly to the community. This approach is not only short-sighted, but fundamentally unfair. For context, my recent combined water bill, sewer, trash, is $85 and I live alone, and I'm not there half the time. By contrast, Duke Energy, which serves 1.9 million customers in Florida, in 2024 dropped their price $17 per 1,000 kilowatts. In 2025, in January, dropped their price $9. And furthermore, they plan to drop it $44 per 1,000 kilowatts in March. Nonetheless, it has managed to deliver consistent rate relief to its customers. In addition, Duke has implemented proactive customer-focused programs including income-based assistance, efficiency incentives, and rebates for household upgrades that reduce long-term consumptions. The only one I know from Pinellas Park is the Angel Fund. These programs not only alleviate short-term financial strains, but also encourage sustainability, responsible resource use, and notably, Duke holds its own employees to high standards. They do not receive discounts on their utility bills, and are not permitted to participate in customer promotions, such as giveaways for completing surveys. This is done to maintain fairness, integrity, and public trust. By contrast, our city has a long recorded record of cutting corners for its employees, shifting grant rules, and providing internal advantages that taxpayers are expected to fund. If private industry can maintain strict ethical boundaries while still serving millions, there is no excuse for public officials to operate with looser standards on the community's dime. Even more troubling is, in the double standard in leadership, public records show that Mayor Bradbury's past water bills have built up. While as she has late fees, I won't say the exact numbers, I think that's unnecessary. Other people have had their water bills cut off. The The hypocrisy is hard to ignore. If the city cannot enforce accountability at the very top, it has no credibility in demanding ever higher payments from its citizens. Residents are being asked to shoulder this cost of financial responsibility that leadership has failed to model. Our residents deserve governance that embodies accountability, foresight, and responsibility. It is unacceptable that the solution to financial mismanagement is impose additional costs on the very taxpayers who already fund this system through property assessments and utility charges. If Duke Energy can reduce rates, expand infrastructure, uphold strict employee standards, and invest in community-focused programs simultaneously, there's no legitimate justification for our city's inability or unwillingness to do the same. The burden of poor financial planning should never fall on the shoulders of the community. And I would also appreciate if we could have the definition of what capital fees means in the new bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else wishing to speak on this item who has not already risen? Sir, if you please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Yes. Good evening. My name is John Bosco. I'm actually a unit owner and also a secretary of the board at Townhouse Northwest, which is a 66-unit complex located 6165 58th Street North, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33709. We're actually out of county, but we get our water from Pinellas Park. So I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of all the owners of the community. Recently, we were informed by the City of Pinellas Park Utilities that our water charges would be changing, applying a minimum 3,000-gallon usage charge per parcel for water, essentially doubling the usage charge for our complex. The City of Pinellas Park Utilities explained that this new charge stemmed from an ordinance that was passed last year, taking effect in August of this year. This new ordinance has significantly increased the water charge for many owners and has caused financial hardship for those on a fixed income in our community. Charging a minimum usage of 3,000 gallons to those who use less water is not only unfair, but also environmentally destructive. With this ordinance, the City of Pinellas Park is actually promoting water waste instead of water conservation, punishing those who conserve water while rewarding those who waste water. Imagine those using 1,000 gallons of water increase their usage to 3,000 gallons since they have to pay for it anyway. The result will be catastrophic, severely draining our vital water resources, which we need to live. In closing, we ask this council to reverse the approval of the ordinance that mandated minimum 3,000-gallon water usage charge per parcel and revert to the previous water charge based on actual usage. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, sir. By giving this to me, it's a public record that the city maintains.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to rise and speak on item P1? If you can come forward, sir. If you could just state your name and address for the record as you begin, sir. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Tim Dempsey. I'm one of the unit owners at Roberts Mobile Home Park, 3390 Candy Boulevard. I stopped at the library a couple weeks ago and picked up this. That's how I found out about it. I was here about 6 months ago talking about the notice that we had to pay the $85 a month for the water bill all year long. It didn't bother me and my wife that much because we're here full time. But a lot of our unit owners go home for the 6 months in the summer. And so I was here kind of for them. And then I was directed to talk to people in the water department. They were very helpful. They gave me all the information I needed. It was great. So I want to thank them for that. It said something about an increase, but I didn't say how much. And I didn't hear anything about what it is going to be. But I did jot down some interesting numbers tonight before I came here. Because each unit now has to pay the $85 a month year round. And up until last year, they got to sign out and not have to pay for that 6 months when they weren't here. So just to round it out, it's like $84.98. So I just made it $85. And there's about 100 units in our park that people go home and, they still have to pay it anyway. There's probably about 40 or 50 that are still there, but the 100 that aren't there that still have to pay, that's 85 times 100, that's $8,500 just in our park. And the 6 months that they've never had to pay comes out to $51,000 for just this year. And I don't know how many mobile home parks or apartment buildings are in Pinellas Park, but I said, well, maybe 20. So if there's 20 of those parks and they'd never had that before, and now they have to pay full time, 51,000 times 20 is $1 million, $1,020,000 that the city never got that money before this year. Now they're going to get that money, and they're going to get it in the future from now on, even though the people aren't going to be here. So I just wanted that to be taken into consideration and whether or not there should be a rate increase, because there's $1 million that they've never had before. Now they're going to get. And so I'm not sure a rate increase is necessary at this point until they see the effects of that additional monies that are going to come in. I'm sure you guys know about this already, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Vice Mayor, can I say something real quick, or is it best to wait until?
Let's just wait till we're through public comment. Yep. Is there anybody else who's wishes to rise and speak on item P1? For those who are not accustomed to the process, this is the one chance to speak. Once we close public comment, it's back to the council to debate, discuss, and ultimately vote on the matter. Seeing no one else, that concludes public comment on item P1, Mr. Vice Mayor. So at this point, it'd be for the council to discuss.
Very good. Mr. Butler?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So just a clarifying comment. I think this is a really important piece that is overlooked, perhaps not realized, is that we buy water from the county, and that water is sold to our customers. So when they increase rates, we have to pass it through. Not passing it through creates a problem. So that's kind of what the big struggle is with our staff trying to balance all that out. So I think it's a scam personally, because we're getting charged for water that we're not using by the county. So that has to be passed along for our stuff to work out. We don't have the luxury of the federal government of just printing more money and all those things. Like, we're paying for the water, we have to pass that through. So it's just important that everybody understand that. And this is staff's best effort to balance that so it is as fair as it can be. And I will give that in the situation we're in, it is definitely complex. So I just wanted to add that comment. I know we're going to have more comments on P2, but I just wanted to put that out there as a clarifying statement.
Anything else from council? Okay. We'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Yes, Councilman Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Make a motion we pass ordinance number 2025-26, public hearing, second and final reading.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
How do you vote, Mr. Vice Mayor?
Oh, in favor. Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. That concludes the hearing on item P1. We are now on item P2, ordinance number 2025-27, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, pertaining to the operation of the potable water, reclaimed water, and sanitary sewer utility systems, adopting potable water, reclaimed water, and sanitary sewer utility rates, utility connection charges, capital recovery fees, and deposits previously established by Ordinance 4270, amending charges pertaining to potable and reclaimed water connection charges, potable water backflow preventer charges, additional potable and reclaimed water fees, and capital recovery fees, providing for repeal of Ordinance number 4270, providing for repeal of all other ordinances or parts of ordinances conflicting herewith to the extent of such conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This has been a second and final reading of ordinance number 2025-27 by title only. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing and turn it over to Joy.
Good evening again. I would like to introduce Mr. Cal Stevens from Stantec to review the results of the rate analysis and our proposed rate increases.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. Kyle Stevens from Stantec Consulting. Wonderful to be here in front of you again this evening. I'll be reviewing our analysis we've conducted for the city this year. So the city undertook a rate study 2 years ago, an in-depth rate study. We came in this year to do a more limited task of reviewing and updating that analysis to look forward-looking what the level of rate increases would be needed in order to provide ongoing sustainability. Let's see. Perfect, you got it. All right, thank you so much. On our agenda tonight, we'll first be talking about revenue sufficiency. And so that's that piece I just mentioned. We'll be talking about the dynamics relating to providing water sustainably for our window of the next 5 years. We'll next be talking about residential reclaimed rates and some of the changes that we've proposed this year for those rates. And then sewer capital recovery fees. So those are the charges for new growth on the sewer system when a new connection comes on. And we've done an analysis to support the current fee and talk about an adjustment to the fee. And then finally, the fourth section will be the largest. That'll be the miscellaneous fees. So those are the one-time fees that the city charges when a customer calls for specific services. So think turn off services. So revenue sufficiency analysis, we'll go to the next slide. I put this slide right here to just set a baseline for the data that was included within this analysis. So when we come in and we perform one of these analyses, we're getting all of the latest and greatest data from the city. So that's your bank account balances for the water and sewer utility to understand where we currently stand, budget information relating to fiscal year 25, which we're in, and also the projections for fiscal year 26 that we'll be entering shortly. Additionally, and I put a chart on the left over here, one of the biggest dynamics that we had discussions with city staff about was capital investments. So these utilities, water, wastewater, are capital intensive infrastructure services. There's a lot of linear assets that are in place to provide these services. And what this chart over here to the left shows two things in my mind. One is you plan for capital projects, and there's a lot of effort that goes into the long-term planning of when projects are done to ensure that we can sustainably provide these life-serving services. However, there are also unplanned projects that come up. So systems fail, and you've got to be responsive and react and make those investments. You see a number of those in the near term here. So in 2025, 26, you'll notice those bars on the left are very high. So the cities had to endure through this period, the water utility, sewer utility, a period of higher than normal capital investments. What that's done, and you'll see in the next few slides, is we pulled down some of the fund balance in order to do that. So revenues in a given year are not enough to provide all of that funding. We've had to tap into the bank account. Go to the next slide, please. What this shows is a dashboard of that financial model that we put together. I'm going to talk through a few of the dynamics that I look for on this graphic. First being in the middle there. So the middle graphic shows your revenues versus expenditures. The revenues are in black. The expenditures are in orange. The definition of sustainability is long-term. Those two are in tandem with one another. The cash flow is balanced here. In the near term, it's been unbalanced, as I've mentioned, and we've pulled down reserve balances. So that's shown on the left part of this chart. What we'd like to do is have a reserve balances at that black line. We keep some money in the bank knowing that we're going to have unforeseen circumstances, failures on the system that in real time we're going to have to go out and fix and pay for. What we've done is pulled that down. And I've also included up here the recommended rate plan from that rate study 2 years ago. So that was an annual increase of 3.25 per annum going forward. What this shows is that will slowly get you back over time, but those reserves will stay below the minimum target that the city has set, meaning if another unforeseen capital project comes up, we're going to have less money to be able to tackle that going forward. If you'd move to the next slide, what we're proposing this evening is moving those annual adjustments up another 1.75%, so up to 5% a year. What that will do is two things. One, it will provide additional revenues to rebuild that rainy day fund so that we have those resources available for capital projects in the future should unplanned events happen like they have in the most recent past. Additionally, this will provide, after we get to the end of this period, some small additional available resources for capital projects going forward. We know there's a lot of needs on these systems, both on the water and wastewater side. And what this will do is put the city in a very sustainable position. So after we get to 2027, we'll have fully restored fund balance to the minimum level we'd like to have in these accounts. Go to the next slide, please. What I've put together on these slides is just a comparison. So as part of the study, we conducted a sampling of other peer municipalities around the Tampa Bay area for both water and wastewater services. What I'm showing here currently is in the fiscal year in 2025. That's the first bar to the left. So the city of Pinellas Park is below average cost for 3,000 gallons a month of water and wastewater services. With the additional increase we're talking about tonight, I've shown another bar off to the right. That would slightly shift us to right at the average for 2025 for water and sewer services. Now, I want to make a point here. This is, of course, a snapshot in time, right? We've grabbed these rates for all the other municipalities. I work for a lot of these municipalities, and the team I work with does as well, but many of them are confronting the exact same challenges as you tonight. So I suspect if we come back in a few months, you'd see many of these move in an upward direction as well. The national average, just for context, is 5% increases on annual for water and sewer rates across the nation. So this is clearly an intensive industry where there's a lot of investment and costs do rise over time. If we could move to the next slide, just conducted this survey at a little bit of a higher threshold of usage. So this is at 5,000 gallons of usage. So you can think this is a larger household, maybe 4 people in the household I typically see these kind of usage levels with. The city of Pinellas Park is roughly right at the average level for these municipalities. And with this proposed change moving forward, again, move one slot in the upward direction and be slightly above average. Again, recognize others will be moving in the upward direction as well. So with that, I'll move to the next topic, which would be the residential reclaim rates. So residential single-family reclaim rates, the current rates that are in place have a 2-part structure. So it has a base charge that charges $13.69, and that's inclusive of 25,000 gallons of usage. And then if you go over the 25,000 gallons, you'll be charged per 1,000 gallon over that, and that would be 92 cents. What we did as part of this analysis this year is conducted an in-depth analysis of all the meters, the reclaim meters within the city. And what we're recommending going forward is a flat fee for all usage on residential reclaim meters. So it would eliminate the city to essentially have to install and meter and bill on reclaim usage. And the reason for that is many of these meters, the vast majority, are below that threshold. So they're not using over 25,000. They're effectively very close to a flat rate customer right now. We move to the next slide, please. This would just show the bill impact for that. So recognizing that after you get above 25,000, there's additional fees. What this would mean is going to this fee would be increasing up to a proposed flat rate of $16.54, which would include all usage. That would mean going from fiscal year 25 to 26, you could expect as a residential user an increase of $2.58. And you'll see that applies across the board until you get to the 25,000 level. Above that, it would be a decrease in bill because they would, under the current rates, get charged an additional fee for usage. Now remember, there's not many customers that get above 25,000 gallons a month. Capital recovery fee. So capital recovery fee, remember this is the concept that growth pays for growth. So the city of Pinellas and its ratepayers have invested in a system, and we're speaking specifically of the wastewater side tonight, to serve not only the existing customers, but you also have capacity for growth. So when new development comes along or parcels are redeveloped at higher intensities, you have fees in place that essentially help provide for payment of the capital that was already invested in by the city. We refer to those as capital recovery fees. The current fee is $2,060. What we were asked to do as part of this analysis was to do a detailed study in order to support that. So it's been a lot of scrutiny on these impact fees over time, and you want to have some defensibility around the fee that you're charging. You're currently synchronized with Pinellas County for this particular fee. We go to the next slide. I've just got some of the details of what we did. It's a little bit of a unique situation here. So the system on the wastewater side is an acquired system where Pinellas County originally installed a lot of the assets and the city took it over and then has continued to maintain and install assets. What that means is there's, to a certain degree, a record gap on a lot of the original investments on what the cost was and when they were invested in. However, the city had just undertaken in 2024 a master plan looking at the wastewater system, and we were able to use that information to understand what the essentially value of the system would be if you had to go out and replace and invest in the system that you currently have in place. And I've included those numbers off to the right here with the categorization of the different assets. So think about the lift station, as well as the lines that are in place and serving your customers. That all totals up to roughly $814 million as far as the kind of current value of that system. And then we need to make a number of adjustments there. So what I've done is on the bottom, I've zeroed in on what the typical intensity of that investment would be in a square mile and divided that by the density of Pinellas Park to essentially think about an average cost per connection, if you will. That's what we're really looking at here, thinking about a single family home and what that infrastructure that the city has invested in supports that single family home when a new one comes online. Additionally, just two other adjustments here. So typically there are contributed assets that also get pulled out of these calculations. So that's oftentimes, think about developers. They'll put in assets that then they'll grant back to the city once construction is completed and then new homes are brought online. That typically is roughly 20% or so. We back that out. And then additionally, debt funding adjustment. So in impact fees or capital recovery fees, you're not allowed to charge for debt because you will repay that over time when a new connection comes on. They're going to pay that in their normal rates. And if you think about this dollar amount, if the city had to go invest $814 million in this system, we couldn't do that all with cash, right? You would normally have to take out some debt component in that. So we've just made these adjustments, conservative adjustments, and the answer's down there at the bottom. So through this analysis, we can fundamentally support a capital recovery fee on the wastewater side of $3,400 and $1. So essentially supporting where you're already at, but then also giving you room over time if that fee were to adjust in an upward direction. It's defensible up to $3,400 with this analysis. This is just a survey right here that shows overall the other peer municipalities. Most municipalities charge this type of a fee to new growth. Again, we want growth to pay for growth. If we don't have these fees, other ratepayers would bear that burden. This shows where we're currently at in the middle, again, synchronized with Pinellas County right now. And I've shown off to the right there, the maximum. Again, I'm not recommending you move all the way up there. It's just providing the defensibility for the fees that you're currently charged and the paradigm of staying in lockstep with the county. And then finally, for today, I've got the miscellaneous fee update. So miscellaneous fees, as I mentioned, these are one-time fees often that are charged to customers for specific services. So they're not charged to all customers, but only customers that have certain requests of the utility or certain services in place. And I'll go through those. What we've done here is a series of interviews with staff. And so it's a very detailed calculation relating to what type of service it is, where does that phone call come in, who gets dispatched out, what equipment goes out, material goes out. All of those things go into the analysis to understand the full cost that the city incurs for these types of services. And the fees that I'll be presenting tonight as we go through are intended to ensure that when those services are rendered, the city is receiving, the utility is receiving full payment for those costs. Again, if you don't have those fees at full cost recovery, because this is an enterprise fund and siloed off from the city, other ratepayers would be paying that burden effectively. We move forward, I think one slide back here. So the first one up on our list is backflow preventer fees. And so this is a connection, usually on the irrigation side of the equation, sometimes on the water side if you've got maybe a multi-story building. There's a backflow preventer in place. What this does, this device essentially prevents, just like it sounds, water from flowing backward through the meter onto the potable system, essentially protecting your water system when there's maybe, say, a drop in pressure on the system. There are two types of those. There's a double check valve and a reduced pressure valve. I won't go through all of these. I think the really important column is on the far second one to the right here. This shows the current cost recovery percent. And what you'll see here is roughly between the 50s of 60% where the current fee is. So what I'm saying is the current fees that the city charges are roughly half of the cost of providing this device right now. And what we recommend is we'd move to the far column over to the right, which would be the proposed fees at 100% cost recovery, ensuring that when these devices are installed, that the city gets the proper remittance or payment back for the full cost of these devices. So this is pretty common. When I update these fees, these are not something you update annually. Usually a bit of time goes by before these are updated, usually 5, sometimes in some cases 10 years. When we often look at this, the prices for labor, material, the actual device have gone up, and this is just a truing up of those costs. Backflow testing fees. So when I actually presented much of this material earlier this year, One of the comments back from council was to go and look at backflow testing fees. So once that device is installed, it doesn't necessarily stop there. So the utility needs to verify the device is working. And so staff on an annual basis cycles through the entire system and inventory of these devices to go out and actually physically inspect them and make sure that they're working properly. What we were asked to do after the last council meeting was look at a potential fee, a monthly fee that would recover that cost from these users. The idea being there again, that your normal household without one of these devices currently, since these fees aren't in place, would be paying some portion of that, right? That's how these utilities work. This would essentially break that out and direct the charge to folks that actually have this device in place. When we looked over this and had detailed discussion, what we're recommending here is a fee that's broken into two parts. So there's a bit of a different effort that's involved depending on the size of the device. So for those devices that are 2 inches, or meters that are 2 inches and below, it's a bit easier, and staff can essentially go down a street and knock those out. It's a much less time involved in the inspection, and that's because they're much more standard in their configuration. What we've broken out on the other side is those 2 inches and above, so larger connections, much less standard. So those are oftentimes at larger developments, and they're going to be require a lot more staff time on site looking at an individual device before we can move to the next device. And so what you'll see there is that's recognized in the fee here. We've tried to break that out, $3 a month and $14 a month for those larger meters, representing those two classes and two level of efforts that are provided by city staff. And then meter fee calculations. So this particular graphic here, I've gone through a large list of fees that I was asked to look at within this study. On the left here, on the starting off are the AMI meter fees, and so I'll just run these through. So the city's moving toward automated metering infrastructure, so digital metering infrastructure. That's different than the analog meters that you have had in place in the past, and that these fees were originally based on. What we've gone through is updated all of the information relating to the actual cost of those digital meters. What you'll find is they're actually very similar to current cost recovery. So I would say we essentially validated the fees that are currently in place will provide a sufficient fee for those new meters. And we put the recommendations off to the right. You'll notice 94%, 103, 104. And then if you move down, what we have is another set of fees as we go down that represent fees that you had typically in the past haven't had in place, but there are calls to the utility and there are activities associated with that. So hose whip fee, female cam fee, those are on the reclaim side of these equations. These are part of the infrastructure to get reclaimed water. And what happens is over time, these items will oftentimes break and calls go into the utility to replace those so that they can access reclaimed water. Traditionally, you haven't charged a fee for that. So we've just gone ahead and calculated a fee, recognizing the effort and the materials on that. That is roughly $60 for the hose whip fee, and female cam is $50. Moving down a little bit further, meter testing. So sometimes customers will call in and ask to have their meters tested in order to ensure accuracy. There is some effort with that, right? The meter's got to be pulled, it's got to be brought back to the shop, and then it's got to be bench tested. We've put a cost on there for $50 to recognize those efforts. Meter tampering, that's more of a discouragement fee. The idea is with these AMI meters, if someone tampers with it or messes with the meter, you want to have a fee, and many communities do, that discourage that type of activity given how sensitive that equipment is and the cost associated with replacing it if it is damaged. And if we move down the endpoint replacement, that's again associated with the AMI meters. We're putting another part of that AMI meter that is the communication device there, and tampering as well, a $200 fee for that. And then finally, down at the bottom, we're just recommending two changes to the turn-on fees during work hours. So currently, that's $25. Full cost recovery, again, this is looking at the full suite of services. So when the call comes in and the work order goes out, that is currently $40. So that's roughly 63% of cost recovery. And then after hours, we've calculated that from the $50 that currently is up to $80, which is the current level of effort associated with that. We move to the next one. So just in summary, and then happy to go back to any slides or answer any questions you might have. For the financial plan, we're recommending giving the intensity of capital that's occurred not only in 2025, but in 2026, that the overall level of rate increases be moved up from what the study 2 years ago presented at 3.75 up to 5% per annum to rebuild cash balances, provide for that capital, sustainable capital funding over the long term. And then the reclaimed rates, we're recommending what I would refer as a two-part, a simplified structure, a flat structure, very similar to what most customers pay right now. This would just essentially codify it and have it apply to all customers. That also, to a certain extent, reduces costs for the utility. You don't have to install meters or bill for that particular service. Much simplified structure for providing reclaim services. And then on the miscellaneous fees, the capital recovery fee that we've calculated here only applying to new growth. The idea is this analysis and its corresponding data will provide defensibility for the city to charge the current fees that are in place and stay in tandem with the county going forward up to $3,401. And then we've mentioned, I just went through backflow preventer fees, where we are recommending moving those to full cost recovery. And then if the council wishes, that monthly fee that would recover the annual cost of testing those meters, ensuring that they function on the system. And then, of course, there's a long list I just went through of the miscellaneous fees. And I would always recommend moving those to full cost recovery. That ensures that the utility gets the requisite amount of cost recovery on those. Otherwise, other ratepayers will pay it. It's a zero-sum game to a certain extent on those particular types of fees and charges. And with that, I'll end the formal comments, but again, happy to go back to any particulars or any thoughts or questions you might have.
Councilman Seville.
Yes, I have a couple questions for you. The sewer connection fee,
Yes.
if I have a developer coming in and building a 10-unit facility, how many connection fees is he charged?
So it depends on, it scales
One
on
tap.
one tap.
One tap.
I believe it would be based on the meter size of that tap. So it would scale up to the meter size.
Say 6 inch. I didn't see
Yeah.
charges up there per size.
Yeah, and so, and again, what I was really asked to do, just back for 1 second, is support the current fees that are in place and think about if those are appropriate or not. All I've said here is the maximum and essentially looked at the numbers to ensure that what you're charging today can be charged and defended with the data that the city has. I haven't changed anything on the structure, so the structure would stay where it's currently at.
What I'm looking at is that developer would be charged 10 times, 10 connection fees.
So I think there's a misunderstanding in that this gentleman's not presenting any fee schedules for the city, only the research and data that supports any fee schedules established by the city. We have a resolution on the agenda tonight that includes some fee schedules. So he's not as knowledgeable to the precise fee schedule as opposed to the data that supports it.
Okay, and then my second question is the female coupling for the reclaim.
Yeah.
You know, if we're doing whips for $60, that ought to include the female cam lock at the same time, is what I'm saying. So I don't think there should be a charge for the cam lock fees, Willie. I just think it ought to be, if you're going to do a whip, it's all one piece. The female cam lock is actually part of that whip. So I think
Staff might have. I know when we talked about it to a certain degree, one of the things that came up was I think those can break independently sometimes, and that question comes in specifically for that part, if I remember correctly, and that's why it was broken out separately. But if there's any other staff comments, feel free to fill in.
Yeah, I mean, I just get with Will and eliminate that myself. But I do like all your fees for testing the backflow preventer. I think they're all in line and they're cheaper than if you go to Manatee County or anywhere else. Our prices are much lower than theirs.
And a lot of communities have those fees in place currently.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Will Herbert, Utilities Director. So as far as the cam lock, we get calls where a lot of time they'll run it over with their lawnmower and we'll just have to come up, maybe their hose whip's fine, nothing wrong with it, and we'll have to come out and replace their cam lock. Or vice versa, they run it over the hose whip with their lawnmower. Well, I understand your feelings how they could be a combination, approaches a combination, but we are going to get two separate calls.
Generally, the cam locks are like 8 inches deep, correct?
Correct.
I just wonder how they hit it with a lawnmower. That's just I just thought that was
probably they pull it, they hit it, they
yeah,
wrench on it. It's common.
Okay.
We've been giving away for a long time, and it does add up when you look at the cost over a year.
Okay. Thank you, Will.
What?
We're going to have public comment in a moment. It's just staff presentation at this point.
That's Joy.
Oh, that's Joy. Sorry. Sorry, Joy.
The sewer connection, we did break out multi-residential to be independent connections. So if there's a 10-unit lot going in, they'll have 10 connections based on the multi-residential fee. The single fee that we talked about tonight is just for a one service, one house. We've supported that fee.
All right, I just want it to be that the developer comes in, even though there's one 8-inch tap, he's putting 10 units into it, you ought to be charged 10 times.
10 connections.
Connections. Yes, absolutely.
Or
Councilmember Sabila, if I may interject, to clarify on the P2 ordinance that you're voting on tonight, the rates are on that. And for the single family residence, that is the $22.93 that we're asking for. The multiple family dwelling unit is $18.34 each. So that would be where you times it by however many units. Mobile home space in a park is $17.20 each. And then commercial, industrial, and miscellaneous buildings are $22.93 each. So it is broken out on the ordinance that's in the backup for P2.
Okay, thank you.
And I was just going to remind everybody that we did previously last year already approved, council has already approved that 3.25 increase in utility rates. So this is just looking to increase it to the 5%. And everything in your ordinance that's up for approval tonight is everything that he has covered as far as the rates go. Thank you.
Anything else from you guys? If there's nothing else from the council, we would go to public comment. So at this point, we're in public comment on item P2, taking first those persons who have submitted requests to speak cards. We have Ellen Newbert, 4700 80th Terrace North. Please come if you still wish to speak on this. No? Okay. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on item P2? Yep. If you could come forward, sir.
Sure. How you doing? Oh my goodness. That was a hell of a nice report too, son. I wish I had seen one of those before. Damn good.
Just state your name and address for the record, sir.
My name is Ed Taylor, 2257 Espelon Road, Avon Park, Florida. A lot of the time. Vice Mayor, Council, Mr. Denhart, I am graced to be here in front of you. But I truly am a retiree, and I have a limited income, and I don't think whatever charges that we come up with will cause any problem at all. I realize it's just a pass through from Tampa Bay Water into the county to us. And I could give you a long form discussion about Tampa Bay Water over the last 40 years or so, but quite frankly, it would be very complimentary. We've done a damn good job of continually providing a safe, secure water system for a growing area. And nobody knows more than that than our former water director over here, in Keith Sabille. So thank you. It has to all be done. It all hurts a little bit here and there, but that was a heck of a nice report. I wish I'd have seen something like that before. I might twist and turn a little bit on it. A couple of things that Keith touched on exactly. Okay, I know what he's talking about there. So, and just happy I never see you guys anymore. So
good to see you.
I thought I'd come here. No, I'm not there anymore. But Avon Park's very famous for many things, but none more famous than perhaps Terry England. That's where Terry was born. Oh. Our old friend England. Like he's got a park there. Taylor's got a swamp. Butler's gonna get him a parking lot out there. Don't worry, Rick. The 12-foot parking spaces. But we'll do that. We'll get there in time. But I do think whoever allowed the Pinellas County virtual school system go there and plant some stuff after Milton, that was great. I don't know from the city reached out to them or they reached out to us. I don't know.
Keith and Kyle and Caleb and there's a group.
You guys did?
Public Works.
Good. Thank you very much.
Leisure Services folks.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you guys did a great job of clearing things out, but to come back and to replant native things into those spaces.
He's all over the place. Sorry, Randy. He's all over.
Yeah.
No apologies to me. I'm just a dude.
So thank you. I mean, I can go on forever. You know that, but no, appreciate it. It's got to be done. This water is It's when I was born, there was 3 million people in Florida. Now there's 30 million people. How do we maintain this water supply of this quantity to fill all these places that we have? It's amazing. And Tampa Bay Water is not alone in what they do. There's districts throughout the state, but how they do it, and it has to filter through from somewhere through our county and then back to us. So you guys just do a great job. So I'm very proud to be a resident of Pinellas Park. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to rise and speak on item P2? Come forward, sir.
Thanks again for your time. In the presentation that we just heard, I saw something about a 5% increase, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted to hear a number or a percentage or something. But then there was mention of, for mobile home units, I guess, $17 increase. Did I get that wrong? I guess I
apologize. It was 1,720 for mobile home space in a park, but it's for new connections. Nothing that you would be charged for. You're already connected.
Okay.
That's for new connections.
Okay. I misheard.
There's a lot of numbers up here.
Sorry
Then
about
there
that.
was something about last year was a 3.75 increase, and now this is 1.25. So I guess what I'm getting at is, what is the increase going to be for the people in our park, so I can let them know when they come back? Does anybody have a?
If I misunderstood what Joy just said, she said we already did the 3.25.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be the difference of 3.25. Correct.
1.75.
Yes.
So it'll go up a little bit, but okay. And then, like I had said before, there's some additional monies that are coming in that I wanted you guys to consider as to whether or not there should be a rate increase. Thank you.
Can I respond?
Okay, yes.
Okay. Just for some pure numbers, so just looking at a minimum water, sewer, and garbage, currently is sitting at 81.91, and so it would just be going up to 88.79. If you add reclaimed in there, it goes from 94.03 to 105.33.
Is there any other public comment on item P2? Seeing none, Mr. Vice Mayor, that concludes the public comment portion of the hearing, and it is back to the council for its discussion, deliberation, and vote.
Okay, any other comments from council?
You know, it's like Mr. Butler said earlier, you know, we're getting these charges passed on to us through Pinellas County. And, you know, in years past, the city has absorbed some of that. You know, they didn't pass it through to the customers. I think Mr. Taylor could tell you, as he was on council, sometimes they absorbed it. But, you know, as time goes along, things get more expensive. The maintenance becomes more difficult, requires more maintenance on the system. And, you know, we can have one sewer break and have to hire a contractor and pay out over $900,000 to make one repair. We're just going to keep falling further and further behind. We're not going to be able to maintain the system we have. And it's like that gentleman said at his trailer park, those residents leave, you know, for 6 months out of the year. Well, we can't shut the main down and not maintain it for 6 months. We still have to provide service for that main, for that connection. So I am actually in favor of this ordinance. And it's up to you.
Anyone else?
You want to make the motion while you got it?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that we pass ordinance number 2025-27, public hearing, second and final reading.
Second.
Excuse me, Vice Mayor Cadell, we didn't close the public hearing.
Oh.
Okay. Was there anything else for the public hearing? Okay, I'll close the public hearing and I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we pass ordinance number 2025-27, public hearing, second and final reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
With that, that concludes item P2. We are now on item P3. Item P3 is a conditional use approval for an accessory dwelling unit, ADU, in the single-family residential R1 zoning district with a waiver to the side yard setback requirements. The applicant is requesting conditional use approval for an ADU in the district, waivers to the side setback to, excuse me, with waivers to the ADU requirement that the structure meet a 10-foot side yard setback. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. Please be reminded, in a quasi-judicial proceeding, you are not legislating, but rather applying the established law in your code to the facts and evidence in the record. This is first and final reading, and we will, Mr. Chair, or Vice Mayor, we would then proceed. Staff, as you present, please confirm if you've been sworn.
I have. I'll open the public hearing and turn it over to Michael.
Thank you, sir.
Try not to tear the place up.
I'll try not to. All right. My name is Michael Caroglio. I'm an associate planner. I'm presenting item ADU 2025-0005. It is a conditional use approval for an after-the-fact accessory dwelling unit, or as we call them, an ADU, on a parcel in the R1 zoning district with a waiver to setback requirements. The request is for a waiver for the side setback from 10 feet to 6.4 feet. The property is located at 8391 54th Street North. Here's an aerial map of the property. The land use of the property is RU, residential urban. Here is a zoning map of the property. It is zoned R1 single family residential. The flood insurance rate map, the property is flood zone X, which is a low risk flood zone. Here is a proposed site plan of the property. Highlighted in green there is the shed that was converted to the ADU. It is located 6.4 feet from the southern property line. There is a site photo, and you can see in the background there with the green arrow, there is the existing shed that was converted to an ADU. So in summary, the applicant converted an existing legally permitted shed into a detached accessory dwelling unit, which was discovered by community compliance case NS-CV-2025-10525. An after-the-fact building permit has been applied for and is currently in review. The ADU is required to meet Florida Building Code. The existing shed is 6.4 feet from the side property line, while code requires a 10-foot side setback. The findings are the request is proposed to meet all of the criteria in section 18-1530.28 of the Land Development Code, with the exception of the side yard setback requirement of 10 feet. The proposed use fully meets the intent of the single-family R1 residential zoning district per 18-1509 of the Land Development Code, and the proposed conversion is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan. Thank you, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Questions?
Yeah, Mr. Vice Mayor. So the shed, as it sits, without it being like, if it was a shed, the setback and stuff are not a problem.
Yes, sheds have different requirements than structures, and at the time it was permitted,
Sure.
it was
Our new ADU that we did last year, whenever that was, that has a different setback.
The reason it's the same. It's supposed to meet the setback of the property, and the reason we are here is because of this would be done administratively, but that it was existing in a spot that would make it non-conforming. So we're here for approval. Anytime you ask for a waiver from any of the conditions.
Are you still there, Keith, or did you go? No, lost me. Okay. Yeah, so if it was just a shed, it's cool. It's good.
Yes.
If it's an ADU with the same setback, it's not good.
Correct. It's got to meet structure setbacks.
Okay. I'm with you. All right. Thank you.
Another question?
Yeah, and you're going to meet all the sanitary.
Yes, it has to meet all Florida Building Code. They've already submitted their building permit.
Okay.
It's in review right now.
So I was just wondering, in the future, is this another sewer connection?
It will be.
So they're going to be charging another sewer connection on this?
I would have to defer to the utility department, but they should be, yes. It's a new connection.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Is the applicant here who would like to speak?
Is the applicant or their agent present tonight? Yes, if you could come forward, it's your opportunity now to present if you wish to. You don't have to, but we just want to make sure it's part of this magical thing we have called due process. You get notice and an opportunity to be heard. If you wish to be heard, you can do so. If you don't, that's fine as well. I just need to be clear that you're declining or choosing to present.
The problem is the little English.
My little English is not the best. I am trying.
Could you just please come forward just so we can...
Hi, my name is Rachel Sosa, and I am owner for the property 839154 Avenue North in Pinellas Park.
Did you already take the oath when we started the hearing?
Yes.
Okay. No. Could you just raise your right hand?
Okay.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Truth.
Thank you.
Sorry, I am nervous. I read the little. Our not goal to complete the project is responsible way. They made all suffered with the requirement for the city and respect the privacy or neighborhoods. That the shed is the same with by the house. Nothing different at the sea or the property. I got full. I believe would be positive additional for the world for the whole family.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for the applicant?
Yes. What type of building materials is the shed? What's it made from? Is it concrete block or wood or?
Michael, do you know?
I believe it's frame.
It's frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this gets approved, everything has to be up to building code.
Yes.
This is just the first step of getting.
Well, I was just wondering if it was, a metal building or even a frame building, it could be moved back to that 10 foot.
It could have been, that was a possibility we discussed before applying for this, but it was easier to leave it in place and come to you for approval.
That's something like I do, is build something, then ask for permission. Something like that.
Any other questions for the applicant?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Mr. Butler.
It's got a motion if you're ready.
Oh, yes.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
At this point, we would
Close.
open it to public.
No others.
So,
If you could just state your name and address, ma'am.
Lori Labor Barroso, 8371 54th Street North.
Have you been sworn, ma'am?
Yeah, I just swore with you when you did it. Yeah. So when I'm looking at the map, the 10-foot is on the south side of the building. Okay. So I'm at 8371, which would be the south side of the building. Right now, that additional dwelling unit is used as an Airbnb, so there is a lot of traffic coming from that location. Their driveway is already on our property line, so I am concerned about, the traffic that will be coming through the neighborhood. I've lived there over 20 years, so it is a concern of mine.
You're the neighbor directly to the south,
That's correct.
and you say it's being used as an Airbnb right now?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
It isn't, right now, I do not see it as a single-family home. Thank you.
Is there anybody else wishing to rise in public comment? Sir. sir, if you could state your name and address clearly for the record.
Sworn in, yes.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
All right. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Leonard Lawson, 8401 54th Street North.
Okay.
I want to shed a little bit of light on what's really going on here. The house was purchased a couple years ago, and pretty much since that date, it's been non-stop construction. When it first started going on, we called the city to see if there was permits being pulled, things of that nature. There was not. There's already an existing issue there with a roof overhang onto our property, which floods it out. We've had to buy a sub pump. I did call the owner of the property, was pretty much told, too bad, so sad. I'll get the roof if I get to the roof. Shortly after that, we were out in the backyard and there was a rather bad smell there, and a lot of noise going on in the backyard. And we have photos of this particular pipe. They're digging right on our brand new fence, literally into our concrete post. And when I called and asked what was going on, she said their sewer pipe is no good. They're just going to place one in themselves. And like I said, it's been ongoing construction over there. With some of the construction that they've done, the land has changed to where our backyard completely floods. Having to get the pump every storm that's out there, we have to go out in the rain, plug the pump in, pump the water down the driveway. And the other lady is correct. That building is not being used as a shed. It is being used as an Airbnb. That house has been, I was in it when it was up for sale, and I've seen the inside since. It's been cut and chopped pretty much to get as many people, if you will, as many rents out of there as you can. And that's what's going on with the shed. This is why they want that there. And again, there's all sorts of people coming in and out. Our house is very, very close to there. We've spent extra money extending the fence out just to try to keep some sort of privacy there with all the people that are coming in and out. Our street is narrow. There's cars that get parked on the street. I have a boat. When I come back on the weekend, I can't even get it in my driveway because of where people are parked. So it's been an ongoing nuisance. Code enforcement has been over there. They were stopped in the middle of what they were doing. There's I guess it was a window. They were trying to make it a separate entrance and have it plywooded up over there because they were doing all this construction inside. So that's what's truly going on with that, and that's why it's becoming a problem, because if this is permitted, it's going to create a large problem for a quiet neighborhood of folks that have lived there for, a long time. And to have this going on is just not something that's welcome in the neighborhood. Changing your house, bettering your home is one thing. Building or creating a nuisance is completely another. Thank you.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
I just want to clarify because I misunderstood your initial comment. So the entire house is not the shed, because I heard you say the shed and then you're saying the entire house is being used. Is your perception?
It is. The way this house is set up, kind of weird. It has two driveways, and it has multiple doors to go in and out. And what was done inside was separating it. There was a huge, large back room, and that has been sectioned off. Another bathroom has been added. There's a sink and so forth that was put outside under the Florida room or in the lanai. So it's clearly what is going on there. And I feel also part of the problem with that other sewer pipe, what they did was they teed off of that to bring it over, which runs behind the shed to be able to tap into that pipe. So it's very clear if you look.
And where is your property?
We are directly next door. We are 8401. If you're looking at the houses, we are just to the left.
So you're to the left and she's to the right.
She's to the right, yes.
Did they ever fix that overhang so the water don't come onto your property?
No. I have pictures of it. If you look closely, when it rains, it comes down. I have a 3 horsepower pump to try to keep up with the amount of water that comes off their flat roof, the other roof. And because they dug up and they put the pipe right along the fence, there is no more easement there. And they put a fence in back there. It's metal and it's right to the ground. So now the water has no place to go. It comes down and it, comes like where the two houses come together.
Yeah.
And it's washing out a paver driveway to where we're constantly having to go out and do maintenance to that as well.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have a video of the water at Fort Hill. There's a group, if anybody
It's all right.
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
No.
I believe you.
No. I think the applicant wanted to come on.
Just before we go to the applicant for any closing comments, is there anything else staff needs to add to this presentation concerning the ADU application?
I got it.
Yes, they have submitted if you look to the north part of the property, the very top, they did have an addition that was illegally done as well. So they have also put in a separate building permit, aside from the ADU permit, to remove that building and get the side setback on the north side of the property proper again. So they have put in a building permit or two building permits, one for the ADU and one for the to remove the addition and enclose. There is a garage in the front of the property here. They are right in front of that black van. They are removing that room there with that screen door there and that small window, and they are enclosing the sliding glass doors there. So they're actually improving the side setback to the north there. There is currently a building permit in process. It's in review right now.
So they're going to demo that?
Yes.
They apply for a demo permit?
It's a combination permit.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions of staff at this time?
No.
Seeing none, Mr. Vice Mayor, I'd suggest we give the applicant a final opportunity to present on the issue. If you could just come up.
Right now, the property have another driveway, but that's not traffic with the neighborhood, but the ADU is the exits the driveway only for ADU, no traffic in the neighborhood. But and I all responsible when I buy the house and no submit the old permit, but I never mind this is big deal. I'm so sorry. I truth all required the city, and that's it.
Anything further for the applicant?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Vice Mayor, at this point, I would suggest, given that staff and the applicant have had an opportunity to present and the public has been heard, you close the public hearing portion and that the body deliberate and reach a decision as to the relief requested.
Okay. Close the public hearing part.
Yeah, Tim, myself, I have a problem approving this because what's going to come down the pipe further? How many more of these we going to get? I think we'd be opening the door to approving everyone in the future if we approve this. And I think that since it is, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think this unit is able to be moved further to the north to meet the setbacks. So I personally wouldn't be supporting this. That's just my feelings.
My question would be, if I'm allowed, they're doing two different things at the same time with one permit, and the one was done without a permit to start with?
Correct.
Everything was done without a permit to start with.
Correct.
Okay, so the question would be then, should they not bring up the portion that was out of compliance before they apply for another one?
I think they are.
Actually, two separate permits. They put in a building permit for the removal of the structure that's actually on the north property line, and they put in another building permit for the actual ADU itself. So there's currently two permits in review right now. They're currently in review.
And with candor to the body, there's moving parts here, right? That you've got the permitting side.
Mm-hmm.
There are separate code enforcement proceedings.
Yes.
That are either seeking compliance or being pursued to secure compliance on top of this ADU application. And then looking to your code, the principal reason why this ADU is before you is the side setback element the way your code is written, they're presumptively allowed, ADUs are presumptively allowed. Not every ADU comes before the body as it's written. While I was not here when that was written, that's, as I read it, I believe accurate. And so understand in that moving part as well, the principal reason why this ADU is on the agenda is because of its proximity to the side setbacks. And so that's really the principal issue that you're being tasked with is, should this be permitted given the side setback deviation? You folks set standards, and in your ADU ordinance, which is section 18-1530.28, you have general requirements set forth, and subsection E provides those setbacks. So that's what you have before you. Admittedly, it's informed by the full record, but I just want to make clear what you do have, don't have, and won't see in the future.
That's clear.
Perfectly clear.
You're reaching for a button.
I'm waiting for you to entertain a motion.
Okay, so are there any other questions?
No.
Okay, so we can close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Yes, Councilman Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I make a motion we deny ADU 2025-00005 public hearing, first and final reading.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second.
Before we take a roll call vote, I'd just like to clarify, as we are moving in the negative, I know I've made a show of this in the past, but to avoid any confusion, the motion on the floor is to deny the relief requested. And so an aye or yes vote indicates you are in favor of denying the relief. It is why often we move in the affirmative and then see if it fails or succeeds. But as we are moving in the negative here, just to be clear, a yes or aye vote is yes, you are in favor of denial. A no vote is you are against denial. So with that, Madam Clerk, I think we should do a roll call vote for this quasi-judicial proceeding.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Sabile?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cadell?
Yes.
By your vote, you have unanimously denied the relief requested for the ADU with the variance. That concludes the hearing on this item. We are now on to item P4, resolution number 2025-11.
Thank you.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, vacating a right-of-way adjacent to 11203 49th Street North in Section 16, Township 30, Range 16 East, providing for an effective date. This is a public hearing on first and final reading. Todd?
Thank you, sir. My name is Todd Byron. I'm a planning coordinator with the City of Pinellas Park, and I'll be presenting item P4, which is case VAC 0525-00004. This is a request to vacate unused right-of-way within the plat of Pinellas Farm subdivision. Here's an aerial of the map. You can see on the right-hand side the right-of-way that is requested to be vacated. It is landlocked, generally located at 11203 49th Street North. Here is a land use map showing that the property has a land use of industrial limited. Here is a zoning map showing that the property is zoned light industrial M1. A flood insurance rate map showing that the property is located in flood zone X, which is a low risk flood zone. And here is a sketch of the right of way to be vacated. Again, you can see it on the right hand side, completely landlocked. And then a quick summary of the case. The right-of-way was platted in 1911 and is not improved or used by the public. As I've mentioned, it's completely landlocked and cannot be connected to other improved roadways. Utility providers have provided letters of no objection to the request, and abutting property owners have been notified of this request. And some findings. The request meets the vacation of right-of-way requirements per section 18-1801 of the Land Development Code, and the request is consistent with the applicable goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan. On August 7th, 2025, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this case, and I'm here if you have any questions.
Questions from council? Okay, we can open the public. Is the Is the applicant here and wish to speak?
Yeah, I do not believe the applicant's here today.
Applicant is not present.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions?
Is there any public comment at this time? If there's any public comment on item P4, now would be the time to rise. Seeing none, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yes. I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Councilman Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Make a motion we adopt resolution number 2025-11, public hearing, first and final reading.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of aye?
Aye.
Unopposed?
Motion carries unanimously.
All right. That takes us to item P5, resolution number 2025-10, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, establishing a tentative millage rate of 5.6500 mils for ad valorem taxation of property within the city for fiscal year 2025-26 to $35,531,696, providing for an effective date. This is the first public hearing and first reading. We turn it to staff for presentation.
Mr. Dan.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Is it your birthday?
It is. He's going to ignore you, but.
Okay, while she's helping me out, I'll give you the oral spiel. Basically, the millage rate and the budget have been reviewed by the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee and recommended for approval. Council was heard and reviewed the proposed millage rate and the budget, had two meetings on it. So, and now if I can get this going, I'll give you a quick presentation. No?
One second.
Let the record reflect Todd broke it.
He turned it off and turned it off.
I'll second that motion.
I gotta get to the main screen. Try escape. Just X out.
He left everybody.
What is going on? Okay, well, not to take any more council's or the public's time, but I'll try to explain this orally. Basically, the first thing that is to be discussed publicly is the proposed millage rate. Oh, thank you. I think it's this one. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. The first chart here shows it's a chart of the taxable property values in the city, the tax base. And this is indicated on the trim notices that taxpayers are mailed, indicating what the gross value of your property is for tax purposes. And then it shows, and it subtracts out the Save Our Homes exclusion if you're entitled to that, and then subtracts out the homestead exemptions. And so that's what we mean by net taxable value. So this is the net taxable value of all the taxable properties in the city for commercial, industrial, and residential. Okay. And I like to show this chart because it shows how much it is, which is your beginning line there. And it shows the changes or what the increases were in the taxable values. And mainly the changes were new construction and annexations for 2024, $46 million, and then an increase in taxable values in the existing properties of $337,512,146. And so shows the beginning, shows the increases and what they were, and shows the ending balance on the bottom, which is that ending balance or that ending figure is what we calculate and use for purposes of next year's budget. But you have to remember that that figure on the bottom is based on or calculated as of January 1st, 2025. So actually, we're behind like 8 or 9 months on our valuation, but that's just the way they do it. So anyhow, total taxable values increased in the city 6.13%. So, and also for every dollar in the tax base or the tax value of a property, the city actually receives 1/2 of 1 cent in property tax dollars annually. Note that relationship. Of course, property tax is estimated at 40% of the revenue required in the city's general fund, and the general fund is the main fund that the city has because that's where we account for and budget for police and fire and EMS and planning and community development and recreation and library and all that stuff. So, okay. This should be a lot easier listening to me than the other presentations you guys had before. Anyhow, this chart shows the calculated rate that would give the city the same amount of tax dollars as the prior year. That calculated rate is known as the rollback rate. And we're required by state law to disclose it. And so you'll see that in the rightmost column at the top, 5.3994. Of course, the city is proposing the millage rate, which is this year's millage rate, of 5.65. So, and you can see the associated property tax revenue budgeted at 95% in both scenarios. It represents the proposed millage rate of 5.65 represents 4.64% increase over the rollback rate. This is a chart I like to show. It compares the major cities in the county relative to Pinellas Park. And as you can see, we fare pretty well. Largo beat us out for next year. Normally we beat them out, but for next year they beat us out slightly. And our also, in addition, our permit, recreation, and utility and impact fees are among the lowest in Pinellas County. So, and then I'd like to show this one. For every dollar of tax that's paid by a taxpayer, water management gets 9%. The city actually gets 25%. Public school system gets 34%. Pinellas County gets 20%. And the Juvenile Welfare Board and the Transit Authority receive 12%. This is a a makeshift sample trim notice I'd like to show, and it shows all the taxing authorities in Pinellas County in the left margin. And the leftmost columns, the two leftmost columns in the white, are assuming that no changes were made in those budgets in terms of the millage rate. So in other words, it's based upon the rollback rate. And so you can see the associated taxes for every taxing authority and what it would be for the rollback rate in those two white columns. In the two right columns that are shaded in bluish gray, that represents the millage rates that are actually being proposed by all the taxing authorities. And it shows what the associated taxes would be for each taxing entity. And then at the bottom is the total tax. So with the rollback rate in this particular case, for assuming a net taxable value of a property at $100,000, that would be the gross taxable value of the property, less the Save Our Homes exclusion, less the homestead exemption, right? The net taxable value in this particular scenario, we're assuming a net taxable value of $100,000. I like to use $100,000 because obviously they change. Some people have a little more, some people have a little less. But by using $100,000, they can easily calculate that out for themselves based upon these numbers. And so anyhow, using the rollback rate, the total property tax would be $1,986.30. Under the proposed scenario on the right, it would be $2,103.66, roughly a difference of like $120. Most of the problems and issues that taxpayers have with their tax bill is associated with the tax exemptions or the Save Our Homes exclusion, or what their property is assessed at. That is handled and controlled by the Pinellas County Property Appraiser's Office, Mr. Mike Twitty. All the cities have nothing to do with that. It's all controlled by the Pinellas County Property Appraiser's Office. And his number is 464-4293. And please don't call me. At least not for this. This is a chart I like to show. It shows the public safety funding. In my mind, we basically allocate our property tax revenue that we receive to the police and fire and EMS services. And at the top, you see the total estimated ad valorem tax net of the city's CRA contribution. So the city's kicking in for next year for its portion of the CRA funding, roughly $4 million, which is not included in that top number. So less the costs for police services, fire and EMS, and the associated revenues that some of these departments get through the county, okay, the net cost being $36,352,000 and change, actually produces a deficiency for public safety funding of close to $5 million. So obviously we have to pay for that from other revenues in the general fund. Property tax revenue is not enough. Okay. And let's see. Okay. Well, basically that concludes our presentation regarding the millage rate. So we'll answer any questions that you have, and then we'll move on to the next agenda item.
Yeah. Questions? Council? No? Should we take those? Okay, is there anyone that would like to speak on this item? You can come up to the podium. If you have any questions or concerns, could you understand it?
Seeing none.
Okay, seeing none, we'll close the comments and we will entertain a motion.
So the public hearing is now closed and we're seeking a motion on the resolution.
Councilman Seville.
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to thank Dan and your staff for all the hard work you guys did. I know it was very difficult, time consuming, and probably pull every hair out of your head. I know it would me. But at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve, or excuse me, to adopt resolution number 2025-10, public hearing, first reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
And what's your vote,
No.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
I'm in favor.
All right.
Yeah. Can't do two things at once.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, with that, that takes us to item P6. P6 is ordinance number 2025-28, a tentative appropriation and annual budget ordinance of the City of Pinellas Park, Florida, covering the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, and ending September 30, 2026, being an ordinance appropriating funds required for the purpose of meeting the general operating expenses of the city for salaries, wages, fees, necessary or proper disbursements, and other expenditures necessary or proper for the operation of the city government, the water and sewerage utility system, and for the purpose of meeting debt retirement requirements and capital improvements during said fiscal year, providing for severability and providing for an effective date. This is the first public hearing and first reading of ordinance number 2025-28. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Dan.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor. We have several slides that will show that's basically a summary or a general overview of the proposed budget for next year, or the tentative budget that you are voting on. That's why we have budget workshops. That's why we have a Citizens Budget Advisory Committee to document. The budget document is very, very detailed and very, very voluminous. So please understand that. So anyhow, this is a budget comparison that compares what is being proposed for fiscal year 25-26, which are the numbers in that leftmost column, and the proposed budget for this year or the prior year. And in the left margin, you'll see the major reporting funds. And it compares the total expenditures. So that way you can see what increased or what decreased or whatever, at least in total. The major reporting funds, in general, I explained already. The water and sewer is self-explanatory. The Public Improvement Revenue Fund is a fund basically that we use in order to accumulate financial resources to pay on the city's debt. And any excess gets transferred into the general fund. The CRA, we've kind of touched on before. Capital improvement is really self-explanatory. We'll get to that in a moment. And, the stormwater fund. Anyhow, the total estimated expenditures overall for the city next year is $245,434,000 and change. And for this year or the prior year in total was $230,950,000 and change. An overall increase in expenditures for including capital, debt service, transfers, and whatever else we can throw in there. An increase of 6.3% overall. Okay. So I like to show the pie charts. People can relate to them. This shows the revenue. What are the various sources of revenue for the general fund? And as I said earlier, property tax represents 40%. Franchise fee and utility taxes represent 20%, and the rest come from refuse billing and charges for services such as permits and city licenses and grants and intergovernmental or some fees and revenues that we get through the state and some from the county. So basically the total being $88,537,503. That's the revenue side. The expenditure side, police, fire, and EMS represent 50% of the expenditures in the general fund. Salaries, operating supplies, training, uniforms. Guns? No. Guns go under capital. Bullets? Anyhow, Public Works represents 8%. Library and recreation, roughly 10%. And refuse billing, 12%. That's what we pay our contractor that does the service. And general administrative, 6%. So that's where the money goes. Okay, capital improvement fund. Basically, this is the revenue that's required for the capital improvement fund to do big capital projects. And basically, most of the money's coming, a substantial portion's coming from grants for Sprawls Horizon Park and a few other things. And then we're using some of our debt proceeds. Water and sewer is providing 18%, and that goes strictly for water and sewer projects. And stormwater 2%. Oh, and CRA 10%. So, you know, much of the CRA money that is received goes into the capital improvement projects fund in order to do eligible CRA projects. Okay, where it's spent: water and sewer 18%, police and fire 50%. That's largely, most of that is for the new police and fire campus that is currently being under construction. Stormwater 2% for various projects that they have. Transportation 13%. That's your roads and streets and sidewalks primarily. Culture and recreation 40%. That's the Sprawls Horizon Park, and also Davis Commons. So, and this is a quick, simple listing of the major projects in the capital improvement fund that I like to show people. And I'll just give you a minute to kind of look at it. But I talked about Sprawls Horizon Park, Davis Commons, the police operations campus. That's $10 million. That's what we're anticipating spending for next year. It might be a little bit more than that for next year. But you know, in total, you're talking about, for some of these projects, like Sprawls Horizon Sports Park was like 23.5 or $24 million, of which we have a state grant for like half. And then the police and fire operations campus is roughly 34 million, of which the city issued debt in order to fund that project. So, and then we have the electric water meters and sewer lift station generators, $1.5 million. So basically, that concludes our presentation. We're here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Dan. Any questions from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Anyone sitting out there that would like to tackle that? Seeing none. I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Councilman Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Make a motion, we pass ordinance number 2025-28, first public hearing and first reading.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How do you vote, Mr. Vice Mayor?
And aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
With that, that takes us to the consent agenda. There are, 11 items on the consent agenda. Item C1 is resolution number 2025-12, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida. I go fast, Ricky. Modifying, ratifying, and confirming rates charged by the City of Pinellas Park to its customers for garbage, trash, refuse, solid waste, and recycling collection to cover increased costs incurred by the city's solid waste contractor, Waste Management Incorporated of Florida, as a result of its increased costs, both as a result of inflation, but also as a result of the increased costs of collection and disposal of garbage, trash, refuse, solid waste, and recycling, otherwise ratifying past rates charged by the city and confirming the continuance of such rate schedule, except as changed herein, providing for an effective date. This is the first reading prior to public hearing for resolution number 2025-12. Item C2, reappointment of Parks and Recreation Advisory Board member Jeanne Keppel. This is the approval for the reappointment of Keppel to serve as a member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board with a 2-year term to expire December 31, 2027. Item C3 is reappointment of Parks and Recreation Advisory Board member Joanne Dauphin. This is approve the reappointment of Joanne Dauphin to serve as a member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board with a 2-year term to expire December 31, 2027. Item C4 is the award of bid ITB 25.017 110th Avenue Force Main for Kaminga and Rude Vets Incorporated. And it would be charged to the appropriate account in the amount of $3,185,150 for the 110th Avenue Force Main project. Item C6 is the award of bid ITB 25.015 Fire Station 35 site work for Evolution Contracting LLC. The amount budgeted for this project is $867,452. Item C6 is the authorization for approval of change order number 1 and final payment for annual citywide street resurfacing and curb replacement, Hillsborough County bid 19970, piggyback for Ajax Paving Industries of Florida, LLC. The final payment for this contract is $154,415.31. The total contract amount is $1,676,675.94. And that takes us to item C7, authorization for the city manager to sign a memorandum of understanding for mutual aid, use of debris management sites, and fuel operations in declared emergencies with the city of South Pasadena. Item C8 is authorization for final payment for bid 24.007 PWOC concrete wall construction with Permacast LLC. The total contract amount is for $208,710. The final payment for the contract is $10,435.50. Item C9 is authorization for approval of final payment for Foxmore Estates and Pinebrook Neighborhood Pond Dredging with Bayside Dredging LLC. Final payment for this contract is $62,750, and the total contract amount is $522,250. Item C10 is the selection of city council member to serve on the evaluation committee for RFP 25016, Davis Commons Construction Manager at Risk. And the selection would be for city council member Butler to serve on the evaluation committee to review and evaluate proposals for RFP 25016 for Davis Commons Construction Manager at Risk. And item C11 is the termination of service for the Board of Adjustment and Citizens Budget Advisory Committee board member. This item addresses the immediate termination of Mr. Gary Migdal's service on the Board of Adjustment and Citizens Budget Advisory Committee, seeking the approval of the termination of Mr. Migdal's term and his immediate removal from service from both the Board of Adjustment and the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee. Those are the 11 items on the consent agenda, Mr. Vice Mayor. And before we proceed with any motion or discussion, there were 2 members in the public who expressed a desire to speak on consent items. If they are still present, first, Vicky Sue Fordyce had expressed a desire to speak on item C1. If you could just state your name and address for the record.
So my name is Vicky Fordyce, and my address is 3147 36th Avenue North, St. Pete. So I'm not a resident of Pinellas Park, but I do have friends and family. I'm part of the SPC program with the Public Policy Administration, so I had to, I'm here today to speak on resolution number 2025-12 on the price increase proposal proposed by the city of Pinellas Park. I understand the impact of inflation of rising prices in the community. Additionally, research from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics also shows that historically the inflation rate for garbage and trash collection has been higher than the overall consumer price index. So I get it. However, this price increase is going to hit many of the stakeholders very hard. These stakeholders include Waste Management, City of Pinellas Park, City Council and staff, Pinellas County, and most importantly, residents, business owners, and customers, which are going to be the most impacted group in the list of stakeholders. For example, residential garbage services are jumping from $16.97 to $23.67, and commercial dumpster rates will see a substantial increase as well. This price jump is obviously going to disproportionately affect lower income individuals and struggling small businesses. I interviewed a family that owns a home in Pinellas Park, and one of the statements was made, it's not just the garbage bill, but everything is going up. They understand things are going up, but it's a constant struggle to keep their heads above water. So while I understand the necessity of the rising fees, and I can acknowledge that they are necessary, I'm wondering if council has considered possible solutions that could help lower these costs, especially for the stakeholders that need it the most, which brings me to the topic of recycling. I think we can agree that recycling is important and something to encourage moving forward. So for example, programs designed to benefit residents could include following incentives. The city could provide vouchers or direct credits on residents' waste management bills based on recycling participation, or possibly promoting community-wide recycling goals that would allow the residents to unlock like shared benefits, for example, a performance-based discount that could trigger automatic reductions in waste management costs for all residents in the community that meet certain recycling targets. Obviously, the less trash generated will save waste management disposal fees through the county. or something as a hardship assistant credit. While Pinellas County doesn't have a program like this, Hillsborough County offers a solid waste hardship and affordability credit on property taxes for eligible low-income residents. The fact Hillsborough County is still implementing the policies such as these today would hint to their success. While this is just a recommendation and it's probably a goal, may not be a goal that can be achieved tomorrow, I do hope this could be considered in the near future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for donating your evening.
Awesome. Yes, no. I've learned a lot. I'm like, oh, but no, thank you so much for all your time.
There's one more member of the public who's expressed a desire to speak on item C1, Ella Newbert.
Compared to other counties, our increase is substantially higher. I'm wondering if that's based off of the company that we use for our trash and recycle. Is that strictly based on their increases?
So this is public comment. It's your opportunity to speak. It's not a Q&A situation.
Okay, understand. And then I just wanted to reiterate on kind of piggyback kind of what she said, just incentives on, low income, elderly people who, are low income, people who are not here all the time, stuff like that. I just want to reiterate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move to any motions, is there anybody else who's wishing to rise on an item on consent that has not already identified themselves? Seeing none, I turn it back to the council.
I just have a quick question, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And I know this is coming before us again, but the numbers that she mentioned for residential is not what I have. So
She's talking countywide.
okay, she's not talking. Okay, because it's $5
Her study was
for residential for us. Okay, I just want to make sure.
It's kind of to that too. It's the county always. It's almost like our water. When the county increases their fees, we try to do the same.
And I think the other piece, just because you asked, that whole recycling money making thing is if we own the whole system. So we don't. We contract. So that's the difference. Hillsborough does things a little bit different.
Well, we do, Chase. We do try to figure out ways to lower the bills as much as we can. Recycling stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. It's very tough.
Okay, anything else? We have a motion, or are we looking for a motion for the consent agenda?
Yes, thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Seville. Councilman Seville.
Vice Mayor, regarding the consent agenda, I would like to make a motion to pass, approve, or adopt whichever action is appropriate. Items C1 through C11, inclusive of C1 being first reading prior to public hearing. The next public hearing will be in the council chambers on Thursday, September 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Well, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, we have no regular agenda item, although it feels like we could have. This time we have comments from council members and questions. Councilman Seville.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, everybody knows what today is, September 11th, and that was really a hard time for our country, just like the demonstration that the fire department gave out. I mean, to me, it was touching seeing everything on TV, then seeing what happened yesterday out in Utah. I mean, it's just so sad. I mean, it really is, and I don't know what's going on in our country, but I just hope everybody would pull together and start praying for people rather than doing the crazy things that happen. I mean, it's hard explaining to your kids or your grandkids what's going on. And, it really is kind of scary going out somewhere. I mean, when I go out to dinner and I sit down, I'm thinking, okay, something happens, what am I going to do? And that's terrible, I think, that I should think that, but I do. And I just know that there's a lot of people in the country right now that need prayers and stop all the craziness. And I'm just thankful for the employees that we have, the staff that we have. I'm thankful for everybody that volunteers in our organizations and that sit up here and devote their time to try to make the community a little bit better place. And I would just thank the people who, like I said, sign up to become volunteers and be part of our board members. And I'd like to ask more people to sign up because it's hard to get people to sign up and get involved, but that's what we all need to do. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Butler?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Ditto, Councilman Sabile. Really shout out to Pinellas Park High School this morning for the 9/11 memorial observance. I haven't been there in a minute, and it is really cool to see the growth in some of their ROTC type programs, and to have all those kids out there was outstanding. And of course, thank you as always to Chief Geisenberger for allowing us to spend some time and witness your new recruits being sworn in. There's something extra special about taking the oath on 9/11, and I really appreciate you bringing that back before council as we have the last several. And of course, Chief Hughes, thank you for that recognition and showing our folks that celebrating our firefighters for the incredible work and paramedics that they do all the time. Something I forgot to bring up at last meeting is the 52nd annual Pinellas Park Christmas Parade is Saturday, December 13th at 6 p.m.
How could you forget that?
I try to forget it, Vice Mayor. No, it's a great event, and it's very popular for good reason. CelebratePinellasPark.com for registration. Runs through November 16th or 17th. So go sign up. Reach out to the parade committee for more information. And good job, by the way. Mayor Bradbury was unexpectedly not here tonight, and very rarely get to do your thing, and it was as good as you can do.
Well, that's saying a lot. And I was just going to thank my friend here for helping me through it. Now it's an insult. So.
I wouldn't expect anything less from it.
I usually get to sit next to him and harass him the whole time.
Staff.
Well, I've got a couple of things. Good evening, everybody. The City Cleanup Day event is this Saturday, September 13th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. More information and drop-off locations can be found on the city's website and Facebook page. We are on the hunt for adult and youth barbecue competitors for this year's Public Works Barbecue and Rodeo to take place on November 8th. So more information can be found on the city's Facebook and website for sign-ups to compete. And Mayor's Park at Freedom Lake is a finalist for the 2025 Great Places in Florida People's Choice Award. Voting is open September 3rd through the 26th. And if you can imagine, you can learn more on the city's website and Facebook page. And voting is open through the 26th. Thank you. Have a great night.
Everybody's worn out.
Don't forget Hubbard over here.
Oh, yeah. Hubbard wants to. Didn't you want to? Oh, Dan snuck out. You can't sing to it. Dan. Anyway, thank you to everyone. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for your cooperation. I'm going to, when I'm done.
Yes, sir. My mistake.
Anyway, as the mayor always says, until we see you again in 2 weeks, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we're adjourned. Oh,
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest. Wait a minute, I got to back this up.
26
Which was it?
26 and 27 September.
26 and 27. Okay.
German American Club.
At the German American Club.
I'm tapping the keg on the 3rd.
It's a great event. So stop out there. Okay.
Yes, sir. Just a pleasure to meet you.